Today on Ian vs. Daddy Bones, we're wrapping it up and calling it a year. Welcome back! It's another exciting episode of Ian vs. Daddy Bones. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, season's greetings, whatever the fuck you celebrate. If you're watching right now, that means you survived it, you're safe, and you're healthy. At least I hope so. You might be home injured, in bed, in a body cast, but you're watching this right now, so for that I say thank you very much. But for everybody else, welcome to the show. I want to say what's up to everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook right now. Give a special high five and a nut dap to everybody who supports me on Patreon, and reminding everybody this is your last episode to support the brand for only $1, because in 2024 the price is going up to $3 a month. I addressed and reached out to my Patreon subscribers to let them know changes are in store for next year, and I thank them all for supporting me over the past 365 days doing Ian vs. Daddy Bones. And if they choose to roll with me next year, thank you very much. If you choose not to support me next year, safe journey. I will hug you goodbye and thank you very much for your support. Everybody else, don't know what to say. I gave you a year to support me for $1 and so many people were fucking sleeping, but it is what it is, and some of those people may not be rolling into 2024 with us. But with that said, I just want to look back on my 2023 and everything in general when it comes to me being me and me doing me here on Ian vs. Daddy Bones. But a year ago at this time, my wife got into a car accident and we came really close to losing her. So I've been extremely thankful and grateful that I've gotten to wake up with my wife every day for the past year. So that's been really fucking awesome because, you know, I've been watching a lot of TV with like alternate realities and alternate timelines. So I'm just thankful that I'm living in the timeline where she survived instead of existing in the timeline where she didn't survive. But my wife got into a car accident last year. Fucking the furnace started going on the fritz last year, and that eventually shit the bed rolling into spring. So I had to install a new furnace this year, which cost me about $2,000. So I'm feeling that right now, but we survived the holidays, the kids had a good Christmas, and everybody was really happy and satisfied with their gifts. And my granddaughter had a wonderful Christmas. So I'm glad that everybody enjoyed the holidays, and I'm like thinking out loud right now because I'm actually filming this episode before Christmas even went down. So I hope everybody had a safe and wonderful holidays, and I really hope my kids enjoyed their Christmas presents, and I hope my granddaughter enjoyed her Christmas presents, because I'd really have to go back and re-edit this shit if, like, you know, people weren't happy with their presents and shit. But like I said, man, between the accident and the furnace, I've been stressed as fuck with the background real life handling a business. You know what I mean? My wife and I get up every day, we go to work, we take care of our family, we pay our bills, and we hold it down at home. So everything's been chugging along in the background when I'm not filming a show about opening up toys and whatnot. But as far as Ian vs. Daddy Bones go, like, I started the show November of last year. Well, it was the end of October rolling into November of last year, but over the course of the past year, I've gotten really comfortable with making content again. I didn't just dip my feet into the water. Eventually I tested the water, but then I just decided to fucking cannonball and belly flop that bitch. So, I'm very happy with I'm very happy with the way I've been just banging out content over the year, whether it's Ian versus Daddy Bones, thinking about how I want to bring back the Original Geeks podcast without it feeling like the Original Geeks podcast. I wanted it to be old and familiar, yet new again, and that's available on the Patreon. And that's the thing too. Like, we're growing the Patreon. I've had my fair share of supporters over the year, and when it comes to the Patreon, my overall subscribers have been very consistent. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's higher some months, sometimes it's a little lower other months, and that's okay. Other people will freaking fake and lie about their numbers. I'm being dead ass honest with it. You can even go to the Patreon and see the numbers for yourself. But, very grateful and thankful for everybody that decided to fucking roll with us this year, because every dime made on this show has went right back into upgrading the show. Whether I was upgrading production lights, upgrading background light lamps, you know what I mean? Getting LEDs and shit, upgrading external hard drives when I was trying to Frankenstein my computer in the past year, trying to keep the show going. Like, I put my fucking 8-year-old laptop through its fucking paces in the past year, and I made it 47 episodes before the computer was waving the white towel saying, I quit, I can't do it anymore. But, like I said on previous episodes since getting back on my feet, like, the old machine dying, sure, it crippled me for like 3 weeks, but the old machine dying was the best thing that could have happened in the long run, because right here I got a brand new machine that I'm able to edit and do the show on, and it's really doing a wonderful job, and I'm editing a lot faster than I was on the old machine, because I'm finding out I no longer have to take shortcuts in order to make it work. Like, on the old computer, I literally was like, and I'm still doing it for the purpose of filming, where I'll film in chunks of video and then edit the episode together when I get home and cut out what doesn't need to be there. But, like, I would have to, like, edit and export and render, like, 3 different pieces of a video, and then put those 3 pieces together to render and export the final mix. And it was like, it was making me do more work than I should have, because my machine was just cluttered of so much shit. And now it's like, with the production and filming of current episodes, I'm going through and getting rid of what doesn't need to be there anymore after every fucking episode, after having everything backed up on the hard drives. But like I said, man, every dime, every penny, whether it was through the Patreon or even friends of mine who don't want to do the subscription thing and they decided to just high-five me through the Cash App, I'm thankful and I appreciate that very much. Like, for example, my homie JR, single-handedly, with helping me out this year, JR himself took care of Snake Mountain. So, again, I thanked you on the episode, but I will thank you again. Thank you very much for supporting the brand and assisting me with that pre-order when the time was right, and it came in, and I was able to redirect that cash and take care of Snake Mountain and open it up for Patreon subscribers. But yeah, every dime has been going into this show, and that's what I plan on doing going forward. Like, I made a list of, like, all my Patreon subscribers for 2023. Everybody who clicked and subscribed for $1 or $5 once I brought back the Original Geeks podcast. I'm getting stickers made of the brand new logo that my boy Outbreak Monkey, whose music is on Spotify, YouTube Music. I don't know who uses Pandora anymore, but he might be on Pandora. But go check out Outbreak Monkey. I found out about him through Killator VHS boxes and Horrible Home Video over the past couple of years. Decided to check out his music, and he's been staying a regular on my frequently listened to list. So go check out Outbreak Monkey because he did the banging ass new logo that you saw at the beginning of the show. But again, for purposes, here it is, right here. Bam! The new logo by Outbreak Monkey. Thank you very much for making this extremely fucking dope, wonderful image. And this is what I'm turning into a sticker. So everybody who supported the brand for year one is getting this exclusive sticker, and nobody else is gonna get this fucking sticker. So thank you guys very much for supporting the brand. So like I said, all Patreon subscribers, get at me through the Patreon. Send me a message with your address. I promise you, I'm not collecting this shit. It's not like WWF Magazine where I'm trying to send you a merchandise catalog so you can buy a Bret the Hitman Hart t-shirt or a Shawn Michaels teddy bear or even replica pleather fake Shawn Michaels gloves. I want to send you the free sticker as my way of saying thank you for supporting the brand. So we got that going on. Outbreak Monkey knocked out a banger of a new logo for 2024. And real quick, since I'm doing shout outs, I want to say thank you very much to Anthony Valentine, aka Tone Chop, who is an OG king of Bing when it comes to local music and the hip hop scene. Tone Chop has been making music for like over 20 years. And if you want to check out his stuff, him and his boy Frost Gamble are available on iTunes, so go check out Tone Chop because Tone Chop did this banging ass hat that I grabbed last week. It says OGPC, and he freehand did the graffiti tag art on the hat, and it's a custom, it's one of a kind, it's an original, so thank you very much for the hat, Chop. I appreciate it. Like, I asked him flat out, I'm like, dude, how much do you want for a hat? And he's like, 30 bucks, my guy. And I'm like, all right, $40 it is. So I went and saw Tone Chop last week, and I bought this fresh-ass hat, which I'm going to be wearing on the show. I also got a hat from Big Drew Graphics, who you also should go check out. And unfortunately, the Big Drew Graphics hat with the trucker hat is a little puffy on my head. And I gotta say, the flat brim hat is a lot more comfortable for me. So I really love this OGPC Tone Chop hat. So thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. Alright, y'all. One thing I wanted to talk about that I never got a chance to talk about over the past month and a half, it kind of slipped my mind. I was planning on talking about it at some point, never got a chance to, and that's the brand new Turtles of Grayskull crossover line that's coming out right now for the first wave, but it's rolling out 2024. And basically what Turtles of Grayskull is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Masters of the Universe. So this is going to be in 2024. It's going to be taking Origins' retail spot. Now, Masters of the Universe Origins is the main toy line that I'm collecting right now. That's what started all of this. So for the past 3.5 years, I've been buying Masters of the Universe Origins, and at this point with the toy line, it's going on year number 4, even though it was introduced at the end of 2019. So call it what you want with the math. It's going on its 4th year. It could be going on its 5th year, depending on how you want to look at the calendar dates. But either way, it's been killing it and doing its thing for the past 4 years at retail. Distribution's been really all over the place. But at this point, Origins went from being new for 2020 to now being 14 complete waves of action figures. When it comes to the original vintage toy line that came out from 1982 to 1987, the majority of those figures have already came out in Origins. At this point, for those keeping count, there's 18 and under vintage figures remaining. So because of that, Mattel's not calling it a day. Mattel's adjusting how they wrap up Masters of the Universe Origins. So it's been kind of a clusterfuck from the retail point of view. Like, it's like if you go to Target or Walmart, chances are you're gonna see Masters of the Universe. The problem is the figures that are gonna be on the pegs are like from so many different waves that nothing's like consistent right now. So you're seeing some Wave 11 figures, some Wave 7 figures, some Wave 9 figures, you know what I mean? Meanwhile, like, recent waves have not even been seen in store, and most people have only been able to get them online. For example, myself, when it comes, like, I have Wave 14 complete. When it comes to Wave 13, I was able to get Slamurai, but unfortunately my pre-orders for Burger King Randy, the 2000 and X1, Snake Tila, and the Snake Horde Trooper, those pre-orders got canceled. So when it comes to those three figures, I don't know how I'm going to get them going forward, but as of right now, like, I've been buying these for almost 4 years, 14 waves practically complete with Origins, you know what I mean? I got Snake Mountain, got Castle Grayskull, we successfully crowdfunded Eternia, that comes out next year, but the retail space in Target and Walmart is going to be disappearing for Origins, and it's going to get replaced by Turtles of Grayskull. Now, I've had some people ask me my thoughts on the Turtles of Grayskull line, and I honestly gotta say, and this is going to shock some people, absolutely not interested. And the reason I'm not interested is I feel what Mattel is doing officially for this line just sucks. I feel it could have been done better, and with what I've seen from people customizing action figures and toys over the years, even people with like top-notch 3D printers that are able to make their own shit in-house have come up with better customs over the years than I feel Mattel did putting thought into this. Not saying they didn't, because obviously some thought went into this. I just feel in the long run, a lot of these figures, if not all of them, could have looked a lot fucking better. And this is coming from a guy who for the past year, I mean, the point of this show is I'm looking back on what I've done in 2023 with Ian versus Daddy Bones, and looking back on the past year. I've been collecting Masterverse figures, I've been collecting WWE Elite figures, and everything with Masters of the Universe right now started with the Masters of the WWE crossover line from like 2018, 2019. So that line hitting stores, you know, catered to wrestling fans, but also at the same time it catered to Masters of the Universe fans. So while Masters of the WWE Universe was kind of hit and miss, at the end of the day, it caught enough He-Man fans' attention that made Mattel realize that maybe He-Man does deserve another opportunity at retail. So we got Origins, and it's been absolutely amazing and a hell of a ride for me for the past 4 years. But with everything I'm buying right now and been collecting and plan on collecting, I don't have room for Turtles of Grayskull. I love Masters of the Universe. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But right now, like this year, last year, I started buying the Loyal Subjects BST AXN line of Ninja Turtle figures while focusing on the classic cartoon series version of those figures. Because Loyal Subjects has multiple sub-brands of all Ninja Turtle figures, whether you want the Turtles in Time version, or you want the cartoon version, or movie versions, you know what I mean? There's like all sorts of Ninja Turtle stuff out there, and better quality stuff if I wanted to buy it. And I'm not saying this isn't quality stuff, because it's fucking Mattel, but I'm just not feeling it. Like, the packaging looks great, a lot of the characters look great, a lot of the characters are like, what the fuck, and make me scratch my head. Because I can see how Turtle guys are influenced by Masters of the Universe, and on one hand, Masters of the Universe people are influenced by the Turtles. So real quick, like looking at like the first 2 waves of what they're offering as like regular figures and deluxe figures, we got. Now before I roll into this real quick, the story is apparently it was another day for the Ninja Turtles. They're at the Technodrome, they're fighting the Foot Clan. Krang's there, Shredder's there, Rocksteady and Bebop are there. Something happens where a portal gets opened up to another dimension, being Eternia, and sucking everybody through the portal into Eternia. So now, like, the Turtles are in Eternia, Shredder and Krang are in Eternia, and people are like, what the fuck? So basically, the way it works out is apparently Shredder meets up with Skeletor and gives him some fucking mutagen. So then Skeletor takes the mutagen and like pours it on Trapjaw, and Trapjaw mutates into a new version of Trapjaw that they're calling Mousejaw, which is Trapjaw if he was influenced and had tech upgrades from Baxter Stockman. So his Trapjaw helmet and mouth, jaw, looks like a giant Mauser head. He's got a white mechanical robot arm, and he comes with like 1 or 2 Mauser figures that can also attach like the weapons on his mechanical arm. And unlike his regular Trapjaw weapons, this version of Trapjaw actually comes with a different color version of Roboto's attachments. So that's actually kind of neat. I like what they did with Mousejaw. But like basically Skeletor like and Shredder like are working together, and they're pouring like they're fucking pouring mutagen on fucking everybody. Like, everybody's getting covered in this shit. Like, they pour it on He-Man, and He-Man turns into a bad guy, now under Skeletor and Shredder's control. So you got mutated He-Man, who's wearing, like, black armor, and he's got, like, a translucent purple plastic body, and looks all gnarly and weird. And then they got Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles, who has his katana blades, but his 2 katana blades look like it's a split power sword. And he's got armor that looks like it's inspired by He-Man. And then you got Donatello, whose armor is inspired by Man-at-Arms, because Donnie's rocking like purple Man-at-Arms gear. And then you got Man-at-Arms, who's wearing his Man-at-Arms gear, but it looks like it has like a samurai influence to it, and he has like a turtle shell shield. Then you have Raphael, which looks like Raph has the Ram Man gimmick, where he's got like the metal shoulder pads and the armor and shit. And then they have mutated Ram Man, which on one hand is interesting because this is an actual version of Ram Man that doesn't have the pop down legs. He actually has articulated legs, which kind of looks neat, and I kind of wish the Origins figure had that. But you got mutated Ram Man. He's also purple, it looks like He-Man. So you got an evil mutated Ram Man, an evil mutated He-Man. Then they got Shredder, which I'm not gonna lie, Shredder in this Turtles of Grayskull line, with the change in colors, looks like the fucking Triple H figure from the Masters of the WWE Universe line. Then they have Beastman, who looks like he's rocking some Shogun samurai armor, but he looks like it's just a regular Beastman figure with new armor. Then you got the Trapjaw, which is going to be a deluxe figure. Then you got Slaker, who's taking the figure Slash and crossing it over with Faker. Now you have a mutated Mossman, which is showing Mossman in a translucent green plastic, and he's also rocking this armor, and he has like these purple tentacle vines coming off his back, and there's like 6 of them. So he looks like really Doc Ock and Masterverse Web Store with the extra appendages in the back. So that looks pretty sick, but you know, overall, it's just not doing it for me. To be honest with you, the only thing that's doing it for me in this line is the fact that one of the card backs, and I believe it was He-Man's, but they basically show that in this line, Skeletor and Shredder are going to be building the Horde slime pit. Only it's not going to look like the Horde slime pit, because instead of having a giant bone dragon skull that the green slime comes out of, now it's a giant fucking shredder head that has the ooze come out, even though it has the same like shape of the original slime pit. They just updated the look of it, so maybe we're gonna get the Shredder slime pit at some point in this line. I would be interested in buying that, because I am currently, and a lot of people are wishing and hoping that Mattel releases the Horde slime pit for the Origins line, because like I said, we crowdfunded Eternia this year successfully. That's going to be shipping next year, but also Mattel's going to be starting their new crowdfund for the Snake Layer, so you know, it's going to be interesting to see everything that goes on with that, because originally when the fans had the choice of voting for what the next crowdfund was going to be, the Fright Zone was listed as a choice, but the slime pit was not. And a lot of people were like, dude, I would have voted for that if the slime pit was a part of it. But, you know, I was also looking at it like, they're only showing you the Fright Zone. Like, we don't even know. Like, all they're showing is basic stuff. There's no extras or perks included in this concept art. So, just because they're crowdfunding the Snake Layer doesn't mean the Snake Layer is all we're going to get. We're probably going to have the opportunity of getting some additional figures, maybe a vehicle, with the Snake Layer playset, if it's successfully crowdfunded and people work their way up the unlockable tier ladder. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen next year. But I'd like to see a Horde slime pit come out, and if they're going to make the Shredder slime pit, you already got like half the job done. You know what I mean? All you need to do is just remanufacture the original parts for the freaking basic base of the slime pit, and we'd be good to go. But they also have a Krang figure, which I'm really not feeling it, because they basically just changed Krang completely to where now he's green skin, rocking this silver, brown, and red armor that if it didn't have the brain in the belly, I would have no idea that that's supposed to be Krang, and I don't even know the backstory for that figure on why Krang looks the way he does. But there you have it right there. The first two waves of Turtles of Grayskull. Like I said, the first wave is currently available. The second wave's probably getting ready to drop. I know Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth had them available for pre-order. I chose not to participate, so I don't even know what's in stock or what's available right now, because I'm not even really feeling it. But if you are, go ahead and check that shit out if you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, in addition to being a Masters of the Universe fan. But overall, the past year was very interesting, and it was a lot of fun. You know, I was able to get caught up on Origins at the time when I was behind. Once I got my Origins all set, I was able to focus on Masterverse, and over the course of the year, I decided to break my rule about not buying wrestling figures, and I decided to start buying the WWE Elite figures, but I kind of made a rule for myself, which I already broke, and that's okay, because even I'm starting to figure it out that it's okay to break the fig collecting rules sometimes, because originally I'm like, I don't want to buy wrestling figures, because the next thing I know, it's going to be like any other wrestling figure collection I've seen, where some kid will be like, yeah, I have figures, and then you like see his figures, and it's like, he's got 50 figures, but it's like 10 figures of the same 5 guys, you know what I mean? He's got like 10 Stone Cold Steve Austin, or 10 Undertaker figures, or 10 John Cena's, and they're all wearing different colored t-shirts and shit, you know? And that's my whole thing was, all right, I'm gonna keep an eye out for them, and if it's something dope on sale, I'll definitely grab it, because some of these Ultimate Editions are looking really neat, especially with all the extra accessories some of them come with, especially if they're flat out recreating iconic attires that was worn at a specific pay-per-view, you know what I mean? And like, anybody could buy an Ultimate Warrior figure, but when they make the Ultimate Warrior wearing his actual gear that he wore at WrestleMania 7 against the Macho Man, now you're just paying attention to detail and just getting everything right and perfect. You know what I mean? That's the shit that makes me smile. That's the stuff I want to put on my shelf. So it's like looking at the WWE figures, especially with like the way they're putting out classic figures, like modern figures of classic superstars from like the 80s and 90s. So like when they put out that 92 Shawn Michaels, I had to get it. Because to me, that's my Shawn Michaels. When I was a kid and Shawn Michaels, you know, when Marty Jannetty was a coward and ran away from Shawn Michaels and dove through the barbershop window, and Shawn Michaels was left all by himself without a tag partner, he had to rediscover himself. So he became the Heartbreak Kid. So when Shawn became the Heartbreak Kid and he was on his singles run, naturally, you know, he was going after the Intercontinental Championship. So during the period of Shawn going after the IC title, becoming the Intercontinental title, and then being stripped of the Intercontinental title, and then coming back with Diesel, you know what I mean? All this shit, you know, that's my Shawn. The way what this figure represented. You know, this was flat out 1993 Shawn Michaels in figure form, and he looked absolutely sick. And then like a few waves later, it's like SummerSlam themed, and they got the 1992 Sensational Sherry. I had to get the Sensational Sherry just to put her with the Shawn Michaels. You know what I mean? It's like setting a table and like having the right plates and the right glasses and the right silverware. They complement each other. You need fucking Sensational Sherry if you're gonna have a Shawn Michaels figure from the 90s, especially if it's like the 93 Shawn. And I got that Shawn Michaels, and it could very well be the 92 Shawn for all I know. That very well was the 92 Shawn, but he was still wearing that gear sometimes in 1993. But looking at the WWE figures, like I've been having a blast collecting them because I've been having a blast collecting the figures. Why the hell is my timer not fucking working? There we go. I've been having a blast collecting the figures because I told myself childhood favorites, but limit it to one figure. So that way I don't have like 10 Shawn Michaels. Even though I have like, I don't know, I think right now I have like 2 Shawn Michaels, but I'm considering getting another Shawn Michaels. Like I have the 92, 93 HBK, but then I also have the SummerSlam 2005 versus Hulk Hogan Shawn Michaels. But the other Shawn Michaels that I'm considering buying is the Elite Shawn Michaels that most recently came out, where he's wearing the gear that he wore at WrestleMania 14, which I was able to go to in high school. So since I already have that Ultimate Edition Stone Cold Steve Austin, I want to get that Ultimate Edition Shawn Michaels figure to pair with my Austin. You know, kind of like if I put that on a shelf, I kind of have the WrestleMania 14 Shawn Michaels, the Ultimate Edition Austin, and then the Ultimate Edition Rock. But I've been having a blast with the WWE figures between the Elites with the Build-A-Figures, because some of the Build-A-Figures have been really fun to participate in. Like, I got the 2005 Dominic Mysterio Build-A-Figure. I have every figure in that wave except the Rey Mysterio that comes with Dominic's head. Because I don't care about having Dominic's head from when he was like 9 years old. You know what I mean? I'd rather just have the bodies. I'd rather just have his arms, his legs, and his torso so I could put other heads on the body. Like right now I have an extra Skeletor head on that little body, so it looks like a kid version of Skeletor. But the WWE Elite and Ultimate Edition figures, I was grabbing those. This past spring when the Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie was getting ready to hit theaters, I decided to grab those figures when they hit Walmart. Those were a lot of fun to grab. So I started buying a second Ninja Turtle line in addition to the Loyal Subjects line, which I kind of stepped back from this year only because when I continued with the line after getting the basic turtles and was going for other figures in the line, like I got the giant Krang, which I opened up for Patreon subscribers, but I also wound up grabbing the Foot Soldier, Casey Jones, Bebop, and Shredder, and I was kind of disappointed with the quality of Shredder, the Foot Soldier, and Casey Jones, because while they are articulated and like I feel like Shredder's body was just absolutely ridiculous, at least compared to the Turtles. Like, he's supposed to be like the main bad guy next to Krang, and I feel like his figure was just so weak, especially like if I was to give this to one of my children to play with. Like, the joints pop apart, like at the elbow, you know what I mean? The leg pops off. Like, it's great for a display character, but there's a lot other better looking display characters, especially if you want, you know, something nice to be seen in the background. Like, oh, what's he got in the background? Oh, that's a dope looking Ninja Turtle. You know what I mean? Definitely better turtles out there. So I kind of stepped back from the BST AXN line, even though I'm interested in getting other figures in that line from other brands. Like, I know they have a Beetlejuice figure I want to get. And the other day I was at local business Soundaround, and Soundaround actually had the BST AXN Loyal Subjects Ozzy Osbourne figure that I thought was pretty fucking interesting. How it was like just Ozzy in posable action figure form, 30 points of articulation. Absolutely fucking great. One thing I can say though this year that I'm super excited about, and I'm sure I'm going to talk about it again, I officially crowdfunded Eternia, so when it comes to like holy grails of my Masters of the Universe collection, I did the impossible, and I was able to successfully crowdfund that bitch. Like, that whole thing was a freaking journey. It was a series of like butting heads with my wife, trying to get her approval, while at the same time I know come hell or high water, I can make this happen, I can make this work. So after all of the butting heads, because it's not like we really argued about it, we just kind of loudly discussed about it while I was trying to prove a point, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I was able to successfully crowdfund. You know, it took me under a year. I was making monthly payments on this thing, which is honestly really great, because I did such an outstanding job making all of these loan payments on time. And because basically from crowdfunding Eternia I found out about ShopPay. And I'm like, what the hell is ShopPay? So basically looking into it, CrowdPay is like, look, we know you ain't got the money for this right now, so tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come in and high-five your ass. We will fund this entire fucking project. We will fund this entire purchase. But we're going to split it into 12 monthly payments. The good news is you're going to get what you're trying to crowdfund. The bad news is you could be paying a shit ton of interest. So when it comes down to it, I qualified, it went through, they paid for the crowdfund, so then for the past year I just been chipping away at that fucking crowdfund. And I mean, honestly, Patreon subscribers had a lot to do with it, with assistance throwing in on the monthly payment. So, you know, I honestly did complete a goal, because my wife's like, so let me get this straight. You're going to start a new podcast where you're going to be opening up these action figures and reflecting on your childhood nostalgia, and the people that subscribe to the Patreon are going to be crowdfunding this playset. And to a degree, I'm like, could, if I want it to be that way, or I could just look at the bigger picture and be like, no matter what, the payments are going to be made, whether it's Patreon or not, because once the Patreon gets withdrawn and the payment hits, I mean, it's going into the same account as my paycheck that I use to pay my bills and fund Ian versus Daddy Bones. So the Patreon amounts is specifically being used on what it needs to be used for, given the time of the month I choose to withdraw the funds. And back in the winter, the funds were able to upgrade the ring lights, the floor lamps, external hard drives, you know what I mean? But as time went on, the Patreon was also able to assist with pre-orders. You know what I mean? Knocking off some figures here and there. Like there's some stuff like, I'm trying to think real quick. I know Snakeface. Snakeface and Dragon Blaster Skeletor pre-orders were taken care of earlier this year with pre-orders. You know what I mean? With Patreon. So, yeah, Patreon's going right back into the show. Whether I'm upgrading gear, chipping away at the crowdfund, or knocking out pre-orders to have additional content and stuff to open up on the show, everything's going in a circle right now. So I'm being very responsible with all of this. So on one hand, yes, I could say the Patreon subscribers assisted with Eternia. I can say the Patreon subscribers are assisting with payments going forward on the laptop. You know what I mean? So everything's going right back into the show. And next year is only going to get better. I'm looking so forward to 2024 because there's a lot of stuff that I want to dive into. Most importantly, I want to dive into the Mega Bloks because, well, it's went by many different names over the years. It was Mega Bloks, it was Mattel Construx, but then Mattel bought Mega Bloks, and then it was Mega Construx, and now it's just Mega. So I got some of the Mega Masters of the Universe stuff. I got the, right there under the table. It's been there for a couple of months. It's been there since June, I think, since I got it in the mail. But I got the Mega Castle Grayskull that is going to be a project next year. I got some friends of mine that I know do filming and video and editing, who like to make movies, who might want a hand in the building and documentation of this Mega Castle Grayskull. So I got that on deck in the works for next year. But I'm going to start off with the Mattel Mega Masters of the Universe Eternia playset, which as of right now is just the blue central tower from the Eternia playset with the lion head on the front, and it comes with some minifigs, and it comes with a Attack Trax vehicle that I'm gonna build, but it's only part of the Eternia playset in mega form because Grayskull Tower and Viper Tower have not been announced yet or revealed. I don't know when they're coming out, but I know that the Central Tower has the extension arms coming off the front and the back of it, which are basically the support arms for the monorail track that is suspended in the air, and it also goes around the other two towers. So what I'm hoping is Central Tower, the Mega Eternia playset, is the first playset of 3. So the other 2 hopefully will come out next year or get announced, and with the other 2 towers we get the monorail tracks so everything could connect to itself. So I'm going to be putting that Eternia Mega playset together, but I'm also going to be starting off and revisiting a bonus video from last year that I have on the Patreon where I put together the 2022 Masters of the Universe San Diego Comic-Con Castle Grayskull Transformation playset, which was a It's the front facade of Castle Grayskull with the skull face and the drawbridge, and you set it up and it's in this box, and it's got this turn knob that flips the drawbridge and goes from He-Man to Prince Adam, and it's really fucking dope. But unfortunately, I put it together last year. My now 3-year-old got a hold of it before she turned 3, and Sadie wound up just ripping the Grayskull face off the goddamn thing. So I basically got to rebuild it from scratch, because she also did something to where now the drawbridge doesn't want to flip over. So I got to go back, revisit, and repair the Castle Grayskull transformation bridge. That's coming in January. So I got a lot of stuff on deck planned for Mega Bloks with Masters of the Universe next year. Currently, I have some Masterverse figures chilling in my pile of loot from Wave 10, Wave 11 of Masters of the Universe Masterverse that's going to be shipping out. And plus there's some WWE Elites and Ultimate Editions that are going to be coming out next year that I'm keeping an eye on. Plus, I also started grabbing some Marvel Legends this year, you know, but like my WWE Elites, when it comes to the Marvel guys, I'm only grabbing my favorites. You know what I mean? I'm not collecting the members of fucking Alpha Flight. All I need is like a decent Spider-Man, a decent Miles Morales, a decent Venom. You know what I mean? Give me a nice Ghost Spider. Give me a nice Deadpool, a Wolverine, Iron Man. I'll be fucking straight. Give me something that I can take some pictures of, and I'll be a happy motherfucker. I don't need to go collecting all the C and D squad of Marvel superheroes that they just want to fart into a wave, so you buy everything just to get the one Build-A-Figure, you know what I mean? But I'm keeping my eye out for the Marvel Legends figures next year, especially since I started collecting the X-Men 97 figures. I got Facebook Reels coming real soon for Magneto, as well as Gambit, and for all I know, by the time I'm saying this into the camera now, they may already be up on Facebook. I may have decided to put them up early. Who the fuck knows? All I know is I want to thank everybody who takes the time to watch Ian vs. Daddy Bones. I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for the support. Even if you hate me and don't do a goddamn thing, you're still watching right now. So deep down inside, you know you fucking love me. So stop being an asshole and smash that fucking share button. Until next time, cheers, Pete! Oh yeah, by the way, happy fucking New Year.
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back.
You can't hide and you can't pretend, cause I'll punch you out like Wendy and Glenn. Some things you learn in the school you attend, but the things that I say you can't comprehend.
I ain't no hippie and I ain't no punk. I don't smoke crack and I don't do junk. I'll just sit down and smoke a fat bong, pull out my guitar and sing a fast song. There's your motherfucking American Idol, putting $2 a gallon down the gas hole. 10 million votes for the next asshole. I'll just put on my engineer's hat, sit back and relax while we speed down the tracks. I'll read the book just to spit out the facts.
Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go back. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go
Where
back.
will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, get stuck cause you never go. Where will I be when I run out of luck? Get hit by a truck or get stuck on the railroad tracks. When shit goes amok and life starts to suck, you're stuck cause you never go
I'll sneak
back.
up your driveway all calm and collective, tripping balls like an underground detective. Need some new shit, but my funds are running low. I spend it on weed, shrooms, beer, and blow. Living life like a cartoon, just flipping the page as I'm staring down the barrel of a 12 gauge. Shotty to the body and it's got me open, shaking so bad, think my legs are broken. I'm choking on the smoke and coughing up the shot, waking up from a dream. These drugs are high. Chasing strychnine with kind and beer with whiskey. Sing a lullaby and I'm sorry you missed me.